Okay, so this is the deepest dive I've ever done on an Easter egg video. I promise you I'm not crazy. I have support for all of my claims. Here's a reminder from the director that everything is art directed and nothing is random. So with that in mind, let's hit it. We already know that we get countless Shakespearean references in this story, right? Objectively, the most hilarious one has to be the link between the dogs in Miss Spink and Miss Forcible's apartment and the story of Macbeth and how that directly relates to the story of Coraline. I know it sounds like a reach. Let me explain. We're shown 3 dogs, okay? And each of those dogs have name tags that they show us. So I was curious, with the knowledge of the Shakespearean references that already happened, if there was a relation to any of these names in Shakespeare. Turns out they're from Macbeth, okay? We've got Angus and Macbeth. We've got Hamish and Macbeth. When I looked up Jock and Shakespeare, I didn't find anything as far as the Shakespearean Macbeth goes, but I did find a TV show called Hamish Macbeth that aired by the BBC in the 90s, in which the main character's dog, Jock, a West Highland Terrier, is hit by a car. Miss Spink is British. It makes sense for her to watch this show. I was curious, what does a West Highland Terrier look like, right? It looks like that. Go ahead and tell me right now that this dog is not the exact same breed as this dog, right? It's the exact same. So why all of the references to Macbeth, right? What's the significance there? We know that at the end of Macbeth, his severed head is brought to Malcolm. Malcolm is therefore back in charge of his own world. Everything's good, right? We don't have a severed head in this story, but we do have a severed hand that Coraline throws down the well, assumed to be positioning herself back in power of her own world, right? Same as Macbeth. Okay, so this next one is objectively a little bit scary. It involves the monologue that Miss Spink and Miss Forcible perform from Hamlet, right? It's super important because they perform the entire monologue except for the last line. Pause if you need to read. It basically talks about how beautiful the world is, how beautiful man is, how mystical it all is, except for the fact that it's fake, right? It's nothing. It's dust. The very last line that they perform is the paragon of animals. Paragon means perfection, right? What animal is perfect here? Weird that they would stop there. The very last line of this monologue that they don't say is, and yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? That is huge. The fact that that line is left out is massive, because when Coraline tries to escape at the end and take the other YB with her, what happens to him? He turns to dust. What?